What is the official relationship between Scouting and the Department of Defense? And were Scouts originally modeled on military Scouts? Let's break this into 3 parts: the historical roots, the formal relationship, and what's happening today. First, yes, the word Scout absolutely comes from the military. Long before youth programs existed, a Scout in military terms was someone who reconnoitered terrain, gathered information, and moved ahead of the main force. When Robert Baden-Powell, a British Army officer, founded the Scouting movement in 1907, he drew heavily from his military experience. He had served in colonial campaigns and wrote a manual called Aids to Scouting for Soldiers. That book later influenced his youth program. So, historically, Scouting did borrow from military concepts, including the idea of preparedness, outdoor skills, uniforms, rank advancement, and merit badges. Early uniforms were intentionally structured and somewhat military in appearance. Discipline, self-reliance, and patriotism were emphasized. However, that does not mean Scouting was created as a military recruitment pipeline. Baden-Powell's stated goal was character development, citizenship, and outdoor education for boys, not formal military training. The program included camping, first aid, navigation, and survival skills, but it was not structured as pre-enlistment training. In the United States, Boy Scouts of America, now known as Scouting America, was founded in 1910 with a civic and character-building mission. It did receive a federal charter from Congress in 1916, which sometimes creates confusion. But a congressional charter does not make an organization part of the federal government. Many civic organizations have them. It simply recognizes the organization's national mission. Now, what is the official relationship with the Department of Defense? There is no formal command structure linking Scouting to the military. Scouting America is not a branch of the armed forces and is not overseen by the Department of Defense. However, there are connections. Military bases often host scout troops. Many military families participate in Scouting. The values of service, leadership, and citizenship overlap with military culture. The military has historically supported Scouting as a youth development organization. And during wartime in the early 20th century, Scouts assisted with community service efforts like war bond drives and civil preparedness. Additionally, military recruiters sometimes attend public events, including Scouting events, just as they do at high schools or community gatherings. But that is recruitment outreach, not institutional control. Now let's address recent headlines. When you hear that a public official like Pete Hegseth is meeting with Scouting America, that does not automatically imply a structural military partnership. Public figures, and especially those with backgrounds in the military or veterans affairs, often engage with civic youth organizations. That's not unusual. It reflects shared themes around service and leadership more than formal integration. So here's the clean summary. Scouting was inspired by a military officer and borrowed military-style structure and terminology in its early formation. It emphasizes preparedness, discipline, and citizenship, values that overlap with military culture. But it's not part of the Department of Defense, not controlled by the military, and not officially a recruitment arm. It is a civilian youth organization with historic, patriotic, and service-oriented roots. In simple terms, the connection is historical and cultural, not institutional or operational.